Michael, good morning. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us this morning. It's a crisis. Would you agree?
Dan, good morning, and thank you very much for having me on your show. And my apologies, I couldn't be with you in studio. We certainly have a very serious problem in terms of the shortage of the fire engine. This problem goes way back, and it just comes to the stage where our fire engine fleet are. A large number of the fire engines are at a status where they are beyond repair. So at the moment we have as of yesterday, last night, we had 13 fire engines or fire appliances serving the city of Johannesburg.
You said 13?
Yes. It's 13. So, however, this number does fluctuate because some do go in for repair, some come out of the workshop. So we do have a fluctuation. We try our best to keep this number as high as possible. But one positive thing is that we are very close to the finalization of the procurement program. In fact, I spoke to our city manager, Dr. yesterday afternoon late, and he assured me that we are very close to, signing off that process. So we're looking forward in the next couple of weeks to have this process completed, and the first batch of the new fire engines or fire trucks would be delivered.
How many?
Well, we are looking to the supplier to give us a confirmed number as to what vehicles are available for immediate delivery, and obviously that number will only become available to us as the customer in terms of the city of Johannesburg once all the paperwork are in place.
Mr. Sun, the number 29 has been reported on in some media. Can you confirm that you'll be getting those 29 engines?
Well, in fact, the first batch is 29. Our initial plan has always been that we want one new fire engine for every station in the city. In fact, we have 30 fire stations across the city. We do have 7 new fire engines we procured in the previous financial year. We want to bolster that number. And, it's really a difficult procurement process. These specialized engines are not available on the floors. There needs to be, process of manufacturing and ordering, of course. So it's not something that we can go to a supplier and say we want to buy, 100 fire engines off your shop floor. But we are really working on it. I want to assure our residents that we're not going to sleep until this problem is resolved.
You see, when we hear about plans to finalize the order and all of that, people become skeptical because plans have been there before, and the earlier tender about fire trucks for Joburg ended mired in some fraud and corruption allegations way back in 2015, so that delayed the process. Now, this latest one, you said we are very close to finalizing, and you said it's a couple of weeks. Can you really guarantee that in 2 weeks' time, the first batch of engines will be ordered?
Then let me take you back a little bit. So you mentioned the procurement. That was from the previous administration where we continued with. However, we had to terminate that supply contract, not only because the supplier then went into business rescue. We also found, allegations of fraud and corruption. So we had to terminate that contract. What ensued thereafter is that we started the process afresh, but very unfortunately, just a few days before we were about to announce the preferred bidder of that contract. And mind you, this was after a long process of, supply chain and procurement. The supplier said to us they no longer want to supply the city with fire engines, so they withdrew from that process. And we are then now left with this current contingency measure in place. So I can assure you, and I really want to guarantee our residents that I will do absolutely whatever it's in my powers. The mayor of the city, Mayor Mashaba, is on this himself personally too. So the two of us work very closely together with the officials, the city managers, to ensure that we bring the fire engines within the next few weeks.
Okay, Mr. Sun, very, very briefly and very quickly. Currently, you've got about 13 fire trucks, and then you say the number fluctuates from day to day that you are currently having. Johannesburg is about 4 million people, we are told, and we've got 13 fire engines working. I mean, when you hear numbers like Chicago has got 2.7 million people, that's just over half in the number of people who live in Johannesburg. Yet, Chicago has got 96 fire engines. And we are just ordering 29. That will give us, with this 13, about 42. Surely we should be aiming at doubling that number of 96 that Chicago has, or we should have over 100 fire trucks.
Yes, then perhaps I wasn't clear enough. The first batch is 29. So, of course, the orders after that would obviously be much more. Our initial stage of the program is to have at least one new fire engine for every station. We are not going to stop there. So the procurement program, it's much more than just 29. In fact, we're looking at other specialized vehicles, your ladders, your other specialized fire attack vehicles. So these are all part of the program. And, of course, there are different needs for different areas. In areas such as the inner city, Sandton, Rosebank, we require specialized firefighting equipment, your high-rise buildings, as compared to your, informal settlements such as Ivory Park, Displut, Alexandra, where we need, probably more compact, firefighting vehicles, but on a smaller version. So these are different needs the city would obviously look into in terms of planning its procurement. But I think lastly, Dave, if I could please very quickly, that I think, fire safety is everyone's responsibility. A lot of the fires start because of, negligence, open flames or heat source not being attended to. So we really want to urge and ask our residents to be just extra, vigilant and careful around these fire sources to ensure that we all keep each other safe. And, of course, we'll do our absolute best together with our firefighters to ensure that we deliver the services, even if it's under those very challenging circumstances.
Thank you very much, Michael Son, the MMC for Public Safety, the City of Johannesburg.